So you like how they changed the concept of the Force and how kids other than Anakin were fatherless? They didn't change the concept of the Force. We are lore masters, so we kind of know how the Force works. Just because there's another sect that has a different interpretation of the Force and calls it a different thing, just like the Zepho called it the Life Wind, just like the Mistweavers called it the Mist, just like the Sorcerers of Tun called it the Unity,
They call it the Unity. Yeah.
doesn't mean they changed the concept of the Force.
And in fact, it's kind of clear that the concept of the thread came directly from Yoda's quote of binding, penetrating, surrounding us. And it makes sense.
And how the kids other than Anakin were fatherless, that has nothing to do with Anakin. They're fatherless. They may have found a way, technologically speaking, or through sorcery, to create life, but it's not the way Anakin was created at all. If in fact we were going to establish a creation in general.
If Anakin indeed was created by the will of the Force as kind of its avatar to bring balance, yeah, the girls weren't created by the will of the Force. You know, like there's a massive difference between using a tool and building something, and then that tool of its own volition getting up and building that thing.
But doesn't that change Force sensitive people and midichlorians? Because the witches and acolytes show anyone can use the Force. It doesn't show that anyone can use the Force. It shows that the people within the coven can.
George Lucas was where it comes from.
The Night Sisters don't use the Force. They still have certain Force sensitive sisters.
The Night Sisters do still manipulate the Force, but they augment themselves by using the Ichor. So Mother Talzin also like straight up says, "I am not a natural Force. I'm not a natural Force wielder myself." How was she wielding the Force? It was through items, through the Ichor. Yeah. So to say that what they did doesn't use a Force would be inaccurate. It's in the expanded universe too, like artificially created Force sensitive people.
So magic is still considered a form of the Force? Genuinely curious. Okay, so
I think a great resource on this is the Sam Maggs book, the Jedi Survivor prequel. Yeah, Battle Scars. Because in that story, we actually get into the mind of
Marin.
But we actually get to see how Marin accesses the Force and accesses the dark side and what it feels like to her, as well as how it's very different from how the Jedi do it and how later she runs into Quizzy. And no, not Quizzy, the other Inquisitor from the show, played by Han. But yeah, it's very different.
The fifth brother.
Yeah.
See, we fill each other's gaps in knowledge.
Yes.
We're in
names just fall out of my brain from time to time.
But to answer your question, I love my fiance. All of these, the Night Sisters, the Jedi, the Sith, they all draw upon the Force, but the Night Sisters use kind of a middleman in the Ichor, which is why their use of the dark side isn't immediately corrupting. Oh, now the name is escaping me. There's a condition called
pyro Forcesis?
Pyresis or something. There's a condition within the Night Sisters that if they use too much of the Ichor, too much of their abilities, they will start to be they will have like fevers and stuff. They'll start to get really, really like they'll feel the effects of the corruption.
So how does the Acolyte affect Anakin's origin? It doesn't affect it at all.
I'll tune into your lives. Thanks for the answers. God bless. Hey, thanks for tuning in, and thank you for engaging in good faith. We always love those conversations, and this message goes out to everybody in the chat. Like, even if you guys have trepidations or hesitations about the show, The Acolyte, with lore or anything like that, you can always engage us in good faith, and we'll have conversations with you. Yeah, so long as you guys are willing to learn, and if you don't believe us, we'll cite our sources too, so that it doesn't feel like you're just taking our word for it.
Trust me, bro.
Yeah, we're you don't have to trust us. We'll give you guys the information and where we got it.